Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday, the 11th day of February 2026. I hope this day finds you and your family safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, along with first responders every day doing their best to comfort and save lives. Those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children, victims of child molestation and pedophilia. And those that are helping to recover those that are victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery, like the Epstein files. Double curses on all the perpetrators, profiteers, and perverts that cause these industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game last night at Madison Square Garden. The New York Knicks lost to the Indiana Pacers in overtime, 137-134. What I want to say to start off today is a reminder. A reminder. I have to remind myself, and so I also remind y'all. I started the Knicks portion of my channel. I started the Bible study portion in 2015. And I've come a long way from then. I started the Knicks portion in 2020. But what caused me to start the Knicks portion was I was like y'all, I said more than 50 years following the Knicks since they won their first championship, 69, 70. And I've seen a lot. And for the last 20 years prior to doing this channel, mostly negative, mostly bad. 1990s was very frustrating because we had a good team, good coach, but it couldn't hold together. One of the things I learned over that time was one of the things that all successful, long-term successful organizations have in common is strong management, strong front office, down to strong coach, and it all started with strong and understanding ownership. Mr. Dolan was at a period of time when the Knicks were at their worst, was too hands-on in basketball decisions. Didn't know what he was doing, didn't know what he was talking about, and that's what caused a lot of the problems. Once I saw Mr. Dolan, James Dolan, change, and I saw that when he hired Phil Jackson. What I saw with the hiring of Phil Jackson was the owner, Mr. James Dolan, attempting to hand the reins of the basketball operations to people that he thought knew more about basketball than him, and to step away and let them do their job. Now, with Phil Jackson, we know that was not successful, but it was the attempt that caused me to see the change. And I knew it was only a matter of time until he got the right crew in the management team. And that right crew would lead the Knicks back from the brink of disaster and the abyss to prominence, which is where we're at right now. So at that point, it was 2020. I decided, because people were still acting like it was the same old Knicks, I knew that once Mr. Dolan made that decision, it wasn't going to be the same old Knicks for long. And it wasn't. And then he hired Leon Rose. I had not knew anything about Leon Rose. I heard he was an agent, but I didn't know anything about him. I knew the template was following the template that Golden State and even the Lakers have followed, using agents in the front office because of their connections. My first thought was the connections were to do with players coming to your team, but it was more than that. It was understanding inside people, draft people, scout people, cat people that understand the industry from the inside to help you build a team. So from that point on, once he hired Leon Rose, I said, okay, let's give him a shot, because Mr. Dolan is trying to hand the reins over. He needs to find somebody or some group that he could trust to just lead the basketball operations to them. And he actually said that. He said, I don't know about basketball. He knew he had messed up with the Carmelo Anthony situation, and now he was trying to atone and trying to do right by the city. Because he owns the team, he do what he wants, but he was trying to do right by the city and the fans. And so once I saw that, I stopped questioning the decision making of the management, particularly in that 2020 year, because as I mentioned, that was that fall that the Don started, to me, earn the title of the Don, making chess type moves that was not just built for the present moment, but built for future moments. And again, even to this day, people, because of the fact that the media is always present and short term in their thinking and in their commentary, most of the fans are too. It's unfortunate. But myself, I don't do that because I'm understanding now it's a longer term game. Okay, and so you're thinking like the management of the Miami Heat or the management of the Boston Celtics or the management of the San Antonio Spurs. You're thinking longer term in your decision making, and so the Knicks finally have that. So when I see a game like last night, I don't think of it in terms of just a short term situation. I'm looking longer term because my premise is that is the Knicks coaches, the Knicks management, the Knicks front office knows what the hell they doing. Okay, and I'm not going to try to sit in my easy chair and second guess them. Some things I don't understand, and I express that. But at the same time, I always have respect for what they're doing because they know what they're doing. A lot of fans don't have that. They're always trying to be armchair coaches, armchair GMs, just tripping people. And so, no, they don't understand that, and they don't give the management that respect to understand they know what they're doing. Last night was a case in point. I'm watching the Knicks from the open. In fact, my wife's cousin had to go in the ICU. He had cancer. We had to drive almost 2 hours to go see him last night, so I couldn't watch the game, but I was watching it on my phone. And then when we would come back, I had it on the phone, and I was listening to it through the car, through the connection with the Bluetooth. So I caught the game, and then when I got home, finally, we got home. It was at the end. Actually, fortunately, I got home at the end of the first half, and I was able to see the whole second half live, whereas I was listening to it and kind of peeking at it in my phone, but I saw it. What I saw from the opening tip was the Knicks was a step slow from the opening tip. First, I'm going to do just like the players do, because players ain't going to make an excuse. They're not, and it's good. But Indiana was hungry. I told y'all yesterday there was like a wounded bear. And let me tell you, they're going to be back to prominence next season. As soon as they get everybody back healthy, with Zubac in there, they're going to be good. They're going to be tough. But they're well coached. Rick Carlisle is an excellent coach. They have a cheap management team, owner, but they get good talent on the cheap, okay, when they can, similar to the Knicks. So any team, though, that comes to Madison Square Garden wants to show out. Any team. But particularly this is true of certain teams like Indiana, who ended the Knicks season last year by beating us coming from behind twice at Madison Square Garden, okay? So they get hyped to come to New York. The thing is about the league, what most people don't get, it's just like you and me. For example, you can wake up some mornings and feel like gangbusters. You ready to go take on the world. But then some days you might get up and sit on your bed for a second. You don't have the same energy every day, okay? Or some mornings you ready to get up, go work out, do your thing, and then some mornings you feeling sore when you get up. So your energy level naturally changes. It's a natural thing in all of our bodies. Our energy level is not the same every day, okay? There's a biorhythm going on in your system. Now, you want it to be up as much as possible, but some days you got to accept it's not going to be the same as it was the other day. And that happened to the Knicks. On Sunday against Boston, they had energy. And the energy was exemplified in the play of Diawara and Grand Theft Auto. It was exemplified. The energy was there, and they put it on Boston. You can never tell from game to game in the league because, again, the 82-game season is a grind. You can never tell when one night the energy is just not going to be there. And there could be reasons for it, this and that and the other thing, real legitimate reasons, but the bottom line is the energy is not there. So they was not playing with that energy. And with the Knicks, when you could tell they're not playing with their energy, is two things. Number one, they go away from the game plan. Even though they won the points in the paint 60-48, but they were allowing Indiana to come straight down the middle of the floor many times, especially in the fourth quarter. And that's why Indiana was able to win the game. The Knicks were fatigued. They didn't have the legs. Clyde mentioned it. There's a lot of fatigue out here today. He was talking about both teams. There was, but it was affecting the Knicks a little bit more. And guys like Nimhart, who's a dog, Neesmith, we know is a dog. They're going to try to take advantage of that. So the Knicks did not have the energy yesterday. And you can never tell. They might come out tonight against Philly with all kind of energy, but you don't know. So they didn't have it last night. And another way, first way I said is you could see they go away from the game plan. And again, Brunson starts taking the most shots by far. Brunson had twice as many shots as everybody else. That's when you could tell they kind of going away from the game plan. Brunson dropped 40 now, but 31 shots, okay? Nobody else had more than like 15, 16, 17, something like that. And McCall was doing work offensively last night as well. But overall, the energy wasn't there. They weren't getting those 50-50 balls that you need to get if you want to win a game like this. And so that was a problem. And I knew it was a problem when I walked in my house at halftime and I could already tell from just listening, I said, this is going to be a problem today. My wife said, how's your team doing? I said, this is going to be a tough night. And it was one point going back and forth. I think there were 36 lead changes, the most in any team this season, any game for the NBA this season. So there was a lot of lead changes. And why? Because, guys like Brunson, they're not going to just let it go, even though they don't have it. And the second reason I knew there was a problem, you watch Brunson. They were getting the shots they wanted. Brown wasn't BSing when he said they were getting the shots they wanted. And that's important in a low-energy game because that's telling you you're able to execute even when you're not at your best and get the shots you want, but they kept coming up short. Most of Brunson's shots were hitting the front rim. That's telling you there's no legs behind those shots. He knew it too. You could see it on the sideline. It was on his face. He's disappointed in himself because he knew he just didn't have those legs in it last night. Josh Hart was doing his best to beat Josh Hart, Charlie Hustle. But it just was a step slow, half a step slow all night long. And when you see Karl Anthony Towns foul out the way he did, again, if you watch the game, he left Huff open. Huff was just missing. But Karl Anthony Towns was not going out to the three-point line to cover that man. He was letting that man shoot, and the man was missing, okay? If Huff was hitting his threes, we'd have been in trouble. But three-point game kept them in the game because most of them was hitting their threes. But at the end, when you start seeing Towns let him shoot, that's fatigue. It's not laziness, it's fatigue. And then Brunson, he gave the first effort on defense, but in defensive dogs, like Alvarado, like Deuce, like OG, you see them give first, second, third efforts on a defensive possession. Brunson would give one, and that was it. And again, I'm not blaming Brunson. It was fatigue, okay? And then at the end of the game, shots that Brunson would normally hit, Shaman would normally hit, they got them. But they weren't hitting them, okay? That last shot before the overtime, Shaman would 8 times out of 10 hit that shot. He's wide open from the right side on the three-point line, gathering from a dead run from a pass from Brunson. That would have been game. But no energy, okay? And it was good that Towns, I was very impressed that our boy ran the floor, got that rebound, and was going back up with it. And I'm also impressed they called the foul. So it was, a low fatigue game. Here we are coming into and that's another reason for the All-Star break. See, it gives the players a break. So now they're going into the All-Star break. It was tough. I got to give Indiana credit. They should not have won that game, but they fought and earned it. So we give it to them. And it's all good. It ain't like the Knicks season is over because they lost the game. And some of y'all are going to take it that way because the media is going to be short-term thinking, short-term revealing, short-term prognostications that are all BS. The Knicks are still good. They still going to be in this battle down the stretch. Don't expect them to not have any low-energy games, especially with the schedule they just had. Thinking about it in a positive light, in the last 10 games, the Knicks are 8-2. See? So it'd be nice to close out the All-Star break 8-2, because even if they win tonight, it would still be 8-2 over the last 10. So close out 8-2, that's not bad. But again, you just never know what the energy level is going to be from your team. And that's why I say during the 82-game grind in the league, any team can be any team. See, if when you play college, you might play 30 games, right? Somewhere in that vicinity, 25, 30, 35 games. You got time to get your energy up. You young boys, usually 18, 19, 20, you got time, you got energy. You're going to bring the energy when you play, right? But in the league, it's 82 games, okay? And this tonight would be the third in the last 12 games, the third back-to-back that the Knicks have played. And this is the third time we play in Philly, and 2 of those 3 were the second night of a back-to-back. So don't judge too much on tonight's game. We don't know. Now, good news is with OG Anunoby, I was concerned that he had turf toe. That's what's been hindering Garland's career. It has ended careers because that toe can be a chronic problem. But he just had an avulsion, which means it's like an ingrown toenail. I mean, badly ingrown. But it's a minor surgery that could be done in less than half an hour. And you just need to recover from it. And they're giving him time to do that, which is fine. So in other words, it ain't like, when we first got him and he had that elbow problem. Or he messed up with a hammy for... No, it's not like that. So that's good news, actually. So we're going to get OG back eventually. We may not get him tonight. We might get him after the All-Star break. I actually hope that's the case. I'm still not trying to have OG out there tonight. But let's hope we have some more energy. Again, you just never know. In the league, you just never know about the energy because Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson could wake up today and feel like jumping through the roof and do their thing tonight. Or they could be dragging into Philly and we can get our behinds beat by Edge Coleman, Maxey and them. So it could go either way. We don't know. Again, we all of us felt the energy from the Boston game. People was hyped. Somebody, they're going to overtake Detroit. Blah, blah, blah. Listen, keep your powder dry. It's still a long season. And the Knicks are good. The framework of a championship team is there. Okay? You may not believe it. I do, and that's what I'm saying. Since I saw Mr. Dolan do what he did, this channel is for the Knicks. Period. We're not trying to criticize. We're not trying to say we're being real when we're just being negative and belly aching. We for the Knicks. Since Mr. Dolan hired the Don and he took over, I trust the Don know what the hell he doing. So I'm not going to distrust him and use one game and say, the season's over, like I know a lot of you fools going to do. But we good. The framework of a championship team is there. You got a starting 5 that's got 2 All-NBA players on it. You got a bench that is dynamite, 5 deep. So somebody calling for, Jordan Clarkson, and I'm trying to explain to people, I guess you are reading too many some of these dudes that do content because they don't know what the hell they talking about. First off, I like Jordan Clarkson, and I think Jordan Clarkson ain't do nothing wrong. But the Knicks are stacked. What does that mean? When you say a team is stacked, that means not everybody that's good is going to play. And when you look at the Knicks, they're not going to go more than 10 deep. Homeboy already told you 9.5, right? So let's call it 10. Let's name the 10. You got the starting 5. Boom. We don't have to talk about that. Cat, Hart, Brunson, McCall, OG. You got the starting 5. Then your bench. Look, Mitch Rob, Deuce, Shaman, Alvarado, and Diawara. You got a bench. And if they go and get somebody off the junk heap for the rest of the season, it's going to be a guy to replace Diawara in that rotation. There's no more minutes for Clarkson or anybody. Right now, Clarkson can play because OG's not playing and Deuce is not playing. So you could get some minutes. But don't think that's a permanent situation. It's not. It better not be if you want Deuce back and you want OG back, which we do. Okay? And then with this expansion thing, I'm seeing some fools talk about Kolek. Y'all must be out your you must be out your mind. You think they gonna get rid of Diawara? You crazy? If they keep an 8, it's the starting 5, Deuce, right? Deuce, Mitch Rob, and Diawara. Everybody else could go. And I mean it. It's like, okay, and they could get him back. Look, let's say Alvarado went out in the expansion. Okay, guess what? He's a free agent after next year. We can get him back. Okay, we can get him back. What about Shaman? We can get him back. He's a free agent for sure. Okay, we can get him back. So, but Diawara, a 50th pick, at 6'9", 7-something wingspan can block down NBA players at age 20? We are not getting rid of that. Kolick will start on an expansion team. You think he don't want to do that? Some of y'all crazy. So anyway, yeah, we keeping Diawara. That boy ain't going nowhere. And so, yeah, I'm trying to tell y'all, there's not enough room for everybody to play. Energy levels vary. Last night was a low energy level game for our boys. We lost that game. Hopefully tonight we can close out with a win. But we going into the All-Star break. Everybody going to rest. We're going to get rejuvenated and be ready to go in the 19th against Detroit, which is going to be minus Beef Stew and minus Jalen Duren, guaranteed. Anyway, you all enjoy your Wednesday. Don't get too crazy. Don't get too high and too low with media and short-term thinking and hyping and clickbaiting. Please, save yourself some trouble. Shalom.